Hello everybody, my name is Troublemaker, and I'm climbing the ladder, playing some more Platinum level games, trying to get back into Masters after being thwarted into the Platinum League by the matchmaking system. Pretty brutal stuff. Today I'm going to show off a very unusual build, for this map. And on this map, I usually go pure factory play, with some support from Vikings. But this time I'm going to play some Marauder medevac. And the reason why tanks are so good on this map is because you take the middle ground, and you put a tank here, tank here, tanks here, and this prevents taking this middle expansion, gives you access to your middle expansion, and it means that your opponent can only be on 3 bases, and it's basically one of the few maps that are currently in the map pack that can be a contain build. So we're going to go for a fast expand Marine Marauder medevac, and we'll drop down our barracks, pretty identical builds. He's trying to sneak his SCV because he doesn't want to get blocked. I honestly would not have blocked anyway. He could have actually got the command center up a little bit earlier, but I'm going to get my command center up as well, so no biggie. Going to build some Marines. We're spreading them out along the ramp just like this, so that if a Hellion comes, we're good. We can actually move him a little bit down the map so he can't get anything off at all. But we're going to do that. He's got double tech lab, factory. This is, kind of an unusual build, but there's a purpose to this. Because if you want to go Marine tank, which he is, you will at some point need to get combat shields and stim packs. You might as well get them right away. And these tech labs can actually be reused later for tanks. Your first tank is always a good idea to have it on the high ground, just so that you can pick off Marines. But I'm going to go for very, very early Marine push. I am expanding, and it's purely Marine with 1 Marauder, and so we're just going to pick off whatever we can with this. Getting rid of his gas is a great idea. And, early Marine Marauder against tanks without siege is actually pretty brutal. And I got a higher Marine count, which is good. You want that high Marine count. This Marauder in the back could be targeted towards the tank, then the tank would be targeting the Marauder now, wouldn't he? So we're going to do a decent amount of damage. And looking at the units lost, it's definitely favoring me. Stim just kicked in, because in this build I go for a very, very fast stim. And we're going to pick off this tank. And that's pretty much the damage that we can do with this. This is pretty much, he's pulling his SCVs. We're going to do a little more damage, but not too much. Low health Marines versus SCVs, not very good, but I've killed off most of his SCVs. He does have the expansion, but whatever. It's done. So that was a pretty good trade on my part. He lost 1,400, I lost 700. Pretty good push. The all-Marine stim push, basically, this is a counter push as well. How this works is you get down your barracks, you get down your command center, you get 1 gas right away, get down a tech lab as soon as possible, you continue building barracks as soon as you have 150 minerals, and then you just keep building barracks pretty much. And so he's got his high ground tank, which is good. It's just in range of these units, and so we're going to sneak them past, and we're going to try and do a little more damage. We're going for SCV kills here, trying to just deny gas mining basically. And now I'm just going to pick off these mules. It's great. Each mule is basically worth 270 minerals, so, the units lost will not look very well for me. I'll say, oh, you balanced out. But you got to remember, mules do not cost anything in this tab, so it's probably about 6,000 minerals lost there. So we're going to continue cranking out Marine Marauders, very heavy amounts of Marines and Marauders. We're not going to go for any tech, we're not going for medevacs, we're going to Engineering Bay. The Engineering Bay timing is pretty early as well. You get your Engineering Bay as soon as this tech lab is down, and the reason for this is just Banshees. In this play, you always want to be 1 base ahead, very important. Very important, you want to comp your guys out at this middle ground, because the middle ground is a choke point for this map. If you control this middle ground, you can expand anywhere you want, and you can deny him any expansion that he wants. He's very fearful of Marine Marauder pushes, so he has 2 tanks on the high ground, very smart, can pick off pretty much an entire army as they come here, and you actually lose the entire army just trying to push this. So we're going to spread our Marines and Marauders up like this, just so that we have a good arc, and then we can just stim in and pick off units very quickly. This is a flanking type thing. You don't want to push into their army with this. You want to be very patient, you want to wait for them to move out, and you want to pick them off when you got a very good opportunity. But we're going for very heavy Marine Marauder play. Insanely heavy, actually. Composition-wise, get a decent amount of Marines, because that's going to be your middle dump, but definitely get a lot of tech labs as well. So you're going to want these Marauders. I think someone, neighbor is yelling. Gas is not as important in this build, but it's still pretty important because the more gas you have, the more Marauders you can get. Also, upgrades are pretty good. The factory timing has nothing to do with medevacs, although we will get medevacs. It has to do with upgrades. So right now I'm on basically 1-1. His Marines are 1-1. His tanks are 0-0. So what does that mean? That means I have an upgrade advantage because all of my units are upgraded, whereas only, so many of his are upgraded. He's playing pretty defensively because he's getting a lot of Marines and Marauders. Getting Marines and Marauders means that you can get less tanks, which means you also have less units. He's also getting a little bit supply blocked, and the nice thing with Marine Marauder, pure that, is that you get a pretty big supply lead pretty fast. I am supply blocked here, building like 4 supply depots at a time. I will max out much faster than him just because I'm building crappier units. I have no medevacs, I have no tanks, I have Marauders. But I have purely what we call the naked Marine Marauder force. This force can kick the ass of a lot of things. So we're getting down the starport. I should be doing armory some point. Yeah, there it is. And we just want to continue cranking out those Marine Marauder upgrades. I just finished these supply depots, and that was worth, like, what, 40 supply, and already I'm pretty maxed out on that part. So he comes in for a push, and we're just going to pick off whatever we can. Don't stim Troublemaker, that's a good Troublemaker, not stimming. So he does have the tank advantage, but he doesn't have a good position, and he doesn't have a very good supply either. He has about half my supply, and he doesn't have a third. So we're going to go in here, pick off a tank, that's pretty good. I trade off quite a few units for that, but whatever, I got a tank, and it was like this tank. And this is also kind of a conditioning thing. As long as you continue taking this tank here, he will stop putting it there. And this tank here is actually like the important position because that's the one that can actually hit into your units. And so I'm going to get some medevacs. I'm taking a base here. This is basically his base, by the way. This the map divides horizontally, not vertically, just so you know. So we're doing small attacks. We're going to go trade inefficiently, and we're going to pull back very quickly. And unfortunately he has this tank in a very good position, and we just got to be very careful, like hit where we can, move back. I still have the better army size, and we're going to pick out that one again. Unfortunately this trade is going to be the one where I lose position, and that's not good. But this is a sneaky base, so he's not going to know about that, is he? He doesn't have a third yet, which is great. But with this composition, you basically always want to ahead and win with macro. Now looking at the supplies, mine's actually plummeting, but my ability to rebuild my army is very good at this point. I'm up to, like, how many racks is this? Like 12, 13? And I could probably use a couple more, actually. Probably 3 or 4 more, and this sneaky base is definitely going to funnel me in good. He has a pretty distinct advantage, but he didn't take advantage of it, mostly because he doesn't have a very good tank count. Every time I kill a tank, it's one less tank he has, and the more powerful, more potent my force is against his, because my higher upgrade will still 1-1 actually. I'm getting the 2-2. What's he on? Just curious. He's on 2-2, so he's actually ahead. But my supply still smashing his, mostly because he hasn't taken a base. He's laying down a lot more barracks, even though his money's not as high as mine, and he has his base here ready to deploy. I am pretty good everywhere around the map. Just need to get a decent unit size, and we're going to do a little drop action. So the disadvantage to taking this position is that if the enemy's going Marine Marauder, you should put turrets like all around your base in a ring, because presumably if you're going tanks, you're going to have a lot of minerals around, and you can afford a lot of turrets. He has the 1 turret, and a nice Marine Marauder drop can do a lot of damage. So he doesn't, like, and this is kind of how Platinum goes, he doesn't really know how to play this. He should be sieged up and just taking position, taking a 4th, taking a 5th, taking the 6th. He shouldn't be making Marines anymore, he should just be using his gas making tanks. But like I said, he doesn't really know this build. He should be, lifting these off, throwing them in the tanks. He just doesn't have the tank count to beat me. So here comes a sneaky drop. When you lose position in the middle, this is definitely the great way to go, because it means he's probably going to rally his units to the middle. Fortunately, I decided to run right into this turret instead of scanning. I've actually broke habit of scanning because basically what ended up happening was, go for this tech lab, by the way. It stops him from making tanks. And the reason why I stopped scanning, because scanning was kind of a tell that you're going to drop, and people have actually been too conditioned for it. So the key thing here is that I got good scouting information. I know that he's going heavy on Marauder. And I know that he really can't build tanks anymore. And he's got a reactor on his starport, which is actually kind of important. I don't. Reactor starport means you intend to make, a lot of these things. And now I got my position back, because he had to pull back all of his forces to deal with that. And this is what I'm talking about. Let's go back to this game-winning battle real quick. So I have, speed past this. He moves all of his army to deal with this, because he doesn't actually have a big army, right? And I'm picking off tanks. I scanned here, and I moved my guys right back. Now, looking at the Troublemaker only vision, tanks are in the lead, and this is exactly the kind of mistake you're going to capture. All those tanks are in the lead, you can pick off every single tank, your army supply is double his, and you can just win. The goal of Marauder isn't really to, have a better unit composition, or, take position on the map. It's not that. It's the idea is that you're going to have so many units, and you're going to be able to rebuild so many units that you can just catch and make mistakes and remax very quickly. Now keep in mind, he just dropped me down 40 supply. Whew. Actually, he probably dropped me down 100 supply, and I'm almost remaxed. FYI. You guys can go up here now to my sneaky base. So yeah, that's Marauder. If you're trying to climb the ladder and you're not in Platinum, don't do it on this map. This is a factory play with Blue Flame Hellions and Thors and Vikings map. This is not a Marauder map. But, I'm better than this guy, so I'll do it. Yeah, I would do Marauder medevac on most other maps. This one in particular is just not a very ideal map. Poor guy was ahead on upgrades. And it's generally a pretty terrible build against most stuff. But it's one where you can kind of throw away units and you're fine still. It's because you have such a huge bank from having all these bases and good macro. And this is what macro Terran actually looks like. Yeah, this map's pretty terrible for it. Normally, like if this didn't exist, this middle location, you'd have like Marauders here and here and here, and just all around ready for flanking positions just to pick up if you can. And that's pretty much it. So, thank you guys for watching.